As we've worked with OVC over the years, we've seen the transformations in the anti-trafficking field, which include a more nuanced approach that balances criminal justice and public health.
A growing recognition of the importance of data collection and moving towards evidence-based programming.
The increased awareness that human trafficking often intersects with other forms of abuse, such as domestic violence, child abuse, and sexual assault. It gives us a better framework to respond to survivors when we can support them knowing that they're coming to us with complex trauma from complicated relationships with multiple layers of abuse.
Over the years, OVC has grown so much in listening to the voices of survivors. And as the funding's increased, we have had more opportunities to bring survivors to the table and listen to them as that informs our efforts.
Think about the transformation over the last 20 years because of Office of Victims of Crime funding. Whether it's direct services, whether it's training and technical assistance, even things such as fellowships to allow people to come to Washington and work as colleagues with their OVC counterparts.
As we have worked with OVC over the years, we've seen transformation in the anti-trafficking world, which includes
the increased outreach to underserved populations like boys and men, labor trafficking victims, and indigenous population, just to mention a few.
We have seen more survivor engagement and especially an increase of diversity.
Through OVC funding, we have seen survivors thriving forever.
Something that we celebrate is the increase in discussions around labor trafficking, and it's an experience that our organization may not have the capacity for without such funding. The acknowledgement that survivors of sex trafficking have often experienced forms of labor trafficking.
We've participated in efforts to address standards of care among service providers. We're building capacity to better address labor trafficking, and public-facing data is being used to support data-driven outreach.
I've seen transformation in the anti-trafficking field, which include elevating the voices of survivors from the first listening session in 2014 to the U.S. Advisory Council on Human Trafficking.
Having OVC provide that leadership, provide the best practices and the tools and trainings to be able to promote that culture shift has really made tremendous impact in our county, to the point where now we're able to be sustainable and pull in local funding as well to support partnerships, to support coordination.
We've been able to identify marginalized populations, the challenges and barriers they encounter, and ways that we can help mitigate those.
In the past, only a few states would report human trafficking and admit they had human trafficking. But today, all 50 states have reported human trafficking cases and have learned best practices to combat trafficking and support victims.
Services became more holistic, trauma-informed, and survivor-led. Since then, OVC's grant programs have grown and changed with the field, adding training and technical assistance to ensure that the quality, the accessibility, not just the quantity, of services keep increasing, expanding, and improving.
Our work with OVC has been transformational by identifying ways to center culture as a protective factor, to creating spaces not just for the input of Black girls impacted, but made space for Black girls and their leadership. OVC funding has created space for those historically disengaged to be seen, and not through a devastative approach, but one that honors culture, community, and lived expertise.
I'm proud that OVC is always striving to be as inclusive as possible, to ensure that all victims of human trafficking have access to the services that we're funding. And this requires an intentional effort to raise awareness about trafficking involving men and boys, about educating the field about labor trafficking, trafficking involving LEP populations and survivors with disabilities, and in even trafficking involving American Indian and Alaska Native survivors.
Happy anniversary, OVC.
Thank you for funding transformational approaches, and happy anniversary, OVC.
I really look forward to the next 20 years of standing up to those who would deny people their freedom. Congratulations, OVC, and happy anniversary.